Hi, my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and I hope that you guys are having an absolutely amazing morning, afternoon, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I am super excited today because this has been a video that has been super highly requested, at least for the past year and a half, and it's been something that I have really wanted to touch on and talk about, and I feel like I've went into enough paranormal investigations now and have kind of built like a routine for myself, so to speak. I am in a pretty good position to talk about how to protect yourself during and before and after a paranormal investigation. However, I have been slightly hesitant to make today's video, not because I don't feel like I've established a solid routine and kind of created these rules, and I use that very loosely for myself, but because I know that the way that I approach paranormal investigations, the way that I investigate, and the things that I do before, during, and after aren't always what everybody else does. And that while this works for me, and I feel as though this is the best way to approach a paranormal investigation, another paranormal investigator or somebody else in the paranormal world and realm might think that it's totally off the wall. And I don't want you guys to think that I am sitting here on some high and mighty throne telling you that this is absolutely the only and best way to approach ghost hunting, because what works for me may not work for you, what works for me may not work for another paranormal investigator, and I am by no means acting in any way, shape, or form superior, nor am I saying that anybody else's approach is wrong. I just know that for myself personally, I have learned a lot since childhood until now about the spiritual realms, about the paranormal world, and while I still have so much to learn, I know that so many of you guys are eager to embark on your own paranormal investigations or head to your own haunted locations, and I want to share with you guys the tools, the tips, the tricks, the good, the bad, the ugly about ghost hunting and how to properly protect yourself. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in hearing how I approach ghost hunting, how I approach the paranormal world, and protect myself from darker entities attaching, all you gotta do is keep on watching today's video, because despite all of the places that I've been heading out since moving to my condo here, which is 2 years ago in December now, the energy in here is as light as a feather. I feel so safe, calm, secure. There is nothing here in my condo, and I'm pretty proud of that because I have had some pretty frightening encounters while out investigating. So that is what we're going to be talking about for today's video. With that being said, I'm going to briefly go over the points that I try to focus on when I'm approaching a paranormal investigation. But if there is anything in today's video that you guys want to hear a more detailed, dedicated video on, make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. While I might not reply to every single comment, I do my best to read all of your guys' comments. So if there's anything specifically that you guys want to hear a little more about, I can do a dedicated video on it. I already intend to do a dedicated video on crystals, but I haven't done that yet solely because I just know it's going to be a super long video. There's so much that I want to talk about with that. But that is a long, rambly introduction. Let's get right on into how I prep myself for paranormal investigations. So first things first, if there's anything that you guys take from today's video and the tangent I'm about to embark on, I really hope that you guys take into consideration the very first point. Anytime you're heading into a notably haunted space, more so if the space is notably haunted by a dark entity, a demonic spirit, or evil spirits. However, one thing that I want to touch on that goes hand in hand with the very first point I'm about to make is that while there are places in the world that are more notably haunted than others, and there are places in the world where there's more paranormal activity or there's known entities, spirits, entities, energies, the whole shebang can be anywhere at any point in time. And so you kind of want to keep this in mind just in your day-to-day life, or if you sense an energy or anything of those sorts, just kind of keep these things into consideration because, we can't put ghosts into a haunted house and expect them to just stay there, which is why all of these points I'm about to get into are all the more important. But the very first thing that I really want to talk about is intention, vibration, and your mental headspace. Your headspace and your intention set the tone for the vibration that you are vibrating, and it can change from one moment to another. Now, for those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you guys know that I speak so highly of and believe so deeply in vibration. And what vibration is what your soul, what your energy is vibrating out into the universe. That changes based on how you're feeling. You will attract what it is that you're vibrating, whether you intend to or not, period. That's how the law of attraction works. That's how you're able to manifest things. What you are vibrating, you are attracting. Same goes for spirits. If I'm going into a haunted space or a space with potentially dark entities and I am in a really depressed headspace, I am just really sad or maybe even angry or just not mentally in it, I have the risk of attracting these darker spirits because we bring forth what we vibrate. So you really want to take into consideration anytime you're in a notably haunted space or just in general in your day-to-day life, where your headspace is at. So make sure that when you are deciding to head into paranormal investigations or to really dive into the world of the paranormal hands-on, that you're taking into consideration where your intention is at and where your headspace is at. You want to make sure that you're going in with good intentions. You want to make sure that you're going in with a positive mindset, with a positive headspace, because that's what's gonna set you up to have the most positive experience. Meaning, if you got in a fight with somebody or you're just really angry or you're just feeling off, it's probably not the best day to be embarking on a paranormal adventure because you hold the risk of attracting darker spirits or darker entities, and you hold the risk of them attaching themselves to you a lot easier. Because, I've said this a million times, dark entities, dark spirits don't want to be where somebody is positive, vibrating high, and really just on a good spiritual vibration. They might come around and try to bring down your spiritual vibration, but if time and time again you are in a white light, positive headspace, the risk of you bringing home a darker entity is a lot lessened. Now, does this mean that every single person who's in a bad headspace and goes into a haunted house or goes into a notably haunted area is going to leave with an attachment or going to attract something dark? Absolutely not. But in the odd chance that you do, it's better that you just take into consideration ahead of time where your headspace is at, where your intentions are at, and what you are vibrating. Now, something else to really think about and consider kind of on that same note is that you want to make sure that both your mental health but also your physical health are in a good space before going somewhere where there are a lot of spirits, and specifically darker spirits. You definitely don't want to be really sick heading out on a paranormal investigation because you are weaker just naturally because you are sick, your body's on the mend, and that also makes it easier for something to attach itself to you. Like I said, it does not mean that if you're sick and you're going somewhere haunted, or if you're sick and you're going on a paranormal investigation, you are absolutely going to bring forth something and get an attachment and have an attachment formed. But you just want to be as safe as possible. So you want to make sure that you're going into a paranormal investigation with really, really good mental clarity and good physical health. Now, a good way to make sure that you're vibrating high prior to an investigation, and something that I do before each and every investigation, is I tend to say a prayer. I will bring crystals with me. I always wear my cross because that's what's special to me and my faith. And I'll make sure to have these items on me while I am going out to these investigations, so that if at any point in time my vibration starts to sink or drop, I have these high vibrational crystals that are able to keep the vibration around me high. Like I said, I do intend to do a whole entire video on crystals that are good for keeping vibrations high, crystals that are good for protecting you, crystals that are good to bring into investigations. I will cover all of that in a separate video. But if you're somebody who's looking to go out on a paranormal investigation right here, right now, and that video is not accessible to you, I would just suggest going into a local crystal shop or doing your research, finding out the crystals that go the best with what you're looking for, be it protection or high vibrational, and then even just holding the crystals and feeling them within your hands. You'll feel the vibration, you'll feel what feels best, and I encourage you to buy the crystal or go towards the crystal that resonates with you. It might be one that's healing your energy. It might be one that just resonates with your personal spiritual journey. Whatever the case is, crystals will call themselves to you or call out to you. And when you hold them, it will just feel amazing. Now, your left hand is the hand that is for receiving, and the right hand is the hand that is for giving. So your left hand receives energy, your right hand gives energy. So if you really want to soak up all of that good energy from the crystal, make sure that you hold it in your left hand and just feel it all coming in and rejuvenating your soul. With that being said, I'm sure you guys will know once you kind of dive into the research, and I'm sure that the people in the crystal shop that you go to will tell you this as well, but you do want to make sure that prior to utilizing your crystals, you cleanse them. You can do a moon cleansing with your crystals. All you got to do is Google it. It will tell you exactly how to do that. Or you can sage your crystals however you feel is the best to cleanse the residual energy of wherever the crystal was prior to being in your possession. And it's a really great way to set intentions with your crystals, which is super important, and I will get more into that in a crystal video. But if you buy a crystal specifically to help you on investigations, when you cleanse it and you program the crystal, just really put out there that this crystal is going to help keep the vibration high in dark times of your investigations. So prepping yourself with some crystals, some sage, just really getting yourself into a good headspace, making sure the energy around you is good, and holding on to your faith. And I say your faith because what works for me may not work for you. We are magical human beings, each and every one of us. There's no exception from one to another. We possess the power to create our own reality. We possess the power to change our frequencies and our vibrations and to bring forth good things into our life. So whatever your faith is, whatever that may be, if you hold on to that with good intention and a pure heart, you are going to be able to tune into that faith in times of darkness, especially during investigations, and be able to pull yourself up and out of that dark vibration. The next point is very, very important as well, and that just comes down to respect. Respecting the energies, respecting the spirits, respecting the space that you're in is going to bring forth a much more positive experience. If you go into any investigation with ego, if you go into any investigation with the wrong intent or the wrong intentions, you're heightening your chances of something going wrong in the investigation or something attaching itself to you or trying to, in a sense, prove itself to you. Which leads me into my next point. And this is one of those points that could be controversial amongst the paranormal community. I know, like I said at the beginning of this video, each person who goes into each investigation that they're conducting holds the rights to go into that investigation however they feel they want to go into it. And I know there are people who disagree with this, but for me personally, I think it is so important to not taunt or provoke any spirit or any entity involved in any investigation or any space that you're in whatsoever. You do not want to provoke or taunt the wrong spirit. You do not want to challenge a demonic entity. You don't want to challenge a dark spirit. You don't want to know what they are capable of. And like Tony Spera said when I went through the Warrens Occult Museum, he said you don't get to decide when a demon comes. If you call on a demon, it might come today, it might come tomorrow, it might come years from now. But you do not get to decide what you're bringing forward and what is attaching itself to you. Heading into any space with ego, attitude, and a taunting approach is a recipe for disaster. And believe me when I tell you, it's all fun and games until the worst happens. And yes, that doesn't mean that every single time you go into a haunted space and you provoke something that it's gonna happen. You could go your whole lifetime provoking and nothing could happen. But do you wanna be the person that has something happen or gets that attachment formed to them or provokes a demon? I certainly wouldn't. So one of the ways that I ensure that I stay safe in any paranormal investigation is that I respect the spirit world, and in turn, thus far, I have received respect back. Nothing has physically harmed me, nothing has come home with me, and I make sure that I definitely do not provoke anything. I give them the full right to allow me to have the experience that I have in their space. And that is a really important thing, in my personal opinion, is to go in there with the best of intentions, a positive headspace, and a non-provoking attitude. You gotta drop ego and go in there realizing that what you're about to experience could be incredible, but you also don't want to threaten or provoke something that you don't know the power of. Which leads me into my next point. One of the things that I truly attribute to living a peaceful life in my condo, regardless of going to these extremely haunted spaces. I think I just almost said a combination of spaces and places. Regardless, spaces, is that I know when to stop. I am a very sensitive person, spiritually, emotionally, just in general, and I can sense when the energy is shifting. I can sense when things are heading down a pretty dark path, and I've learned when enough is enough, when to stop, when to leave, when to recognize the signs of things around me. It's so important for you guys going into paranormal investigations to know when it's time to leave that space. It could be that somebody's starting to not feel like themselves. It could be that you're getting a really, really bad feeling. It could be that through the spirit box, you're getting threatened by spirits. It could be that things are now flying off the walls. Whatever it is, you need to have that sense of awareness of those around you and your surroundings to know when it's time to thank the space for its time with you and leave. A lot of times, especially in extreme cases like possession, there's a lot of signs leading up to that pivotal moment, that moment where it all just takes a dark turn. And I really think that it's so important, especially if you're new to paranormal investigations, to when you're in the space and you feel the energy shifting or you feel yourself changing or you just get a really bad feeling, to know that it's okay to stop and to leave. I think sometimes, especially in the time of content, people want to push it. People want to see how far it will go. People want to get that great video. People want to get that awesome story timer experience. But at the same time, when that camera turns off, the viewers aren't with you anymore, but an entity just very well may be. And you just don't want to have taken it too far for whatever reason that may be. Leading me into that, I think that it's really important for both spiritual, paranormal, and physical, this dimensional safety to have somebody with you. If it's one person, if it's a group, whatever it is, I would never recommend ghost hunting alone. Not just because of the paranormal, but also because you just never know what could happen. Your safety physically, what if something happens? What if there's another person around? Whatever the case is, you want to make sure that you're doing everything to ensure your safety. And I think that the best way to travel, especially in paranormal situations, is in a group. You guys know I love to ghost hunt with my friends. I love to ghost hunt with my mom and Sarah. I love to just bring people with me because number one, environmentally, it's a lot safer. And number two, it's also safer because let's say that somebody is under psychic attack or somebody is being deeply affected by the area around or what's going on around them. There's other eyes to see these things and to potentially pull that person away from the space that's affecting them. I've heard of people who spirits just want to show how they died, or spirits just want to communicate with them via feeling, and you might not be able to pull yourself out of something the same way that somebody around you could. So it's really important, in my personal opinion, to ghost hunt with people. But like I said, I'm not saying these are set in stone rules. This is just how I try to stay safe. And I think that that's a really great tip to think of, at least. The next thing that I always do, especially when I feel the energy around me shifting or getting darker, is I just pull myself back to that white light. Light will always overpower darkness. Always. That's just how it is. And as much as there's darkness, there's also light, but you want to be that light. And I continuously, time and time again, even when I'm not in investigations, but especially when I'm in investigations, I pull myself back to that white light. If I feel darkness seeping in, if I feel like something around me has ill intent, I envision myself in a big white light. If I'm with people, I envision them in that same white light, and I just picture that white light coming through every fiber of my being, surrounding me and just keeping me safe. But I do want to say it's not always enough to just picture it. You got to feel it. Feel that white light, feel that good energy surrounding you, and you will find yourself coming back up to that positive vibration and keeping those dark things away. Another thing that I've learned that I think is one of the reasons that my apartment feels like such positive energy is that you really want to avoid inviting things into your space. You want to avoid provoking or pulling things into your home because unlike out in an investigation in an exterior space, you can't really leave your home unless you up and move, which is just not ideal. So they say not to use spirit boxes in your house. I think I've done it like twice in here. Nothing came through, thank goodness, but it's not safe. They say to be very careful about how you provoke things in your own home, how you bring things forward, how you call upon things, because like I said, this is your sacred space and you want to keep it as clean as possible, especially if you're somebody who enjoys going out into investigations, because at least you know you have your home to come back to. And actually expanding off of that, I sage in here very often, like normally like once a week. I try to keep sage in here. I keep my crystals cleansed. I really keep my space positive and just keep the energy really light and good, because I do talk about some dark things in this chair sometimes and I don't want to bring forth those things. So if I feel like a video has affected me, or doing research into something has affected me, or seeing images, or whatever the case is, pull out that sage, put it in the shell, get the feather out, and just cleanse the energy in here. And if you guys want to see a whole video on how to sage your space and, you know, cleanse your crystals and just keep everything in a really high vibration, let me know in the comments below. But you want to keep your home space very clean of dark energy. And the final thing that I really do when I'm done an investigation is to disassociate from whatever energy I've made contact with. Even if it's not a dark entity, even if it's not evil, you don't want these spirits to form attachments to you. So I do try to cross on spirits if I can. I don't think I'm some Melinda. I don't think I'm superior or holier than thou. It's just when I hear, especially through a spirit box, that there's trapped spirits, I try to do my best to say a prayer for them to cross on. But when I'm done at an investigation, I always disassociate from the energy. I say a prayer for both the spirits and I say a prayer for myself. I thank the universe for allowing me to have that experience, and then I sage the heck out of myself. I cleanse all of that energy before even getting into my car to leave off of me, and I don't stop doing it until I feel like, whew, okay, I'm completely my own energy again. Nothing is taking from my energy. Nothing is attached to my energy. And then I'm able to move on to the next location or move on to my house. And I think it's just so important, however you find ways to disassociate. I've heard different ways that other people disassociate from the energy, but regardless, I think it is so important to establish your energy again, separate from that space. A lot of times when you go into paranormal investigations, especially in darker spaces, you'll feel that heavy energy and it will take a toll on your energy. And you want to make sure that when you're leaving there, there's no residuals of that energy in your aura, in your energy. If you make sure to sage yourself or cleanse yourself in whatever way works for you and disassociate from that space, your chances of bringing anything home with you are much less, and you should be feeling a lot better by the time you're on your way home, regardless of how scary the experience was, or even if there was no experience. And that's something that I really want to specify as well. I don't pick and choose which investigations I cleanse myself from after. I continuously cleanse myself regardless of if anything came through or not. The final tip that I really want to talk about as far as safety in paranormal investigations goes is one that I really learned from Picnic Table 29, if you guys have seen that video, is that when you're setting forth to go on a paranormal investigation or you're setting forward to go ghost hunting, I found myself just thinking of the spiritual harm and thinking of protecting my energy, protecting my soul, protecting my space, but I was failing to take into consideration the environmental hazards, the environmental concerns, the real world problems. And if you haven't seen that video, in essence, Sarah and I climbed 3 miles up into the mountains of Griffith Park to go to Picnic Table 29. And we thought it'd be cool to film when it's kind of dark up there. Not thinking that we had to go 3 miles in the pitch black. There were some nice points, but majority was with trees surrounding. 3 miles back down in the dark, in the night. We didn't think about mountain lions. We didn't think about any animal concerns. We didn't think about people that could be around the area. We just didn't think about anything other than paranormal. So my greatest advice to you beyond any of this is that you never jeopardize your safety for an investigation or a fun ghost hunt, because you just never know. You need to make sure that you're being safe and as safe as possible anytime you embark on a paranormal investigation, anytime you embark out into the real world in general, because you just never think it's going to happen to you. And you just never know when it could. So just please, please, please make your safety a priority in every way. And that will be will be a good thing for sure. Oh, and also while we're at it, please be careful with trespassing. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but when we were in New York with Andrew and we went to Mary's grave, the cops were called on us, and if Andrew's dad hadn't been there, who was a police officer, we would have been arrested for trespassing. I think Sam and Colby got arrested for trespassing. Actually, I know they did. And it's no joke. It's just, you never want to get in trouble with the law because you wanted to go and investigate somewhere. As harmless as it sounds and as harmless as you know it is, like, we knew we weren't vandalizing the property. We knew that we weren't causing trouble there. We were literally just walking around, but the law doesn't care. Trespassing is trespassing. So please don't break the law to meet some ghosts. That is basically how we protect ourselves in paranormal investigations. If you take anything from this, please take your physical safety very seriously, and please just really think about your headspace when you're heading into these haunted locations. Either way, I would love to hear about your guys' ghost hunting adventures. So if you guys have any stories, or if you do decide to go out and ghost hunt, come back to this video. Let me know in the comments below how your experience went. If you guys have anything that you do specifically when you go ghost hunting that I didn't mention that you think people would love to hear, the comment section is there for that too. I really just think it's so cool how we've built this family and community, and we can all talk amongst each other. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, as rambly as it was. You guys have asked me for quite some time how I keep safe in these investigations, and I thought I'd finally make it. It's hard sometimes because when I'm sitting here and there's no banter and it's just me talking, sometimes my points get misunderstood. And I just want to make one thing so clear throughout this whole video, is that you don't have to listen to a single thing that I said. All I'm sharing is how I stay safe. I'm not saying it's the best and only way, but this is how I do it, and I am really happy in my home, and I don't feel like I have anything dark around me. So yeah, I hope that you guys take it for what it's worth, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day or night. I love you guys so much. If you're new to my channel, please, well, if you like my content, click that subscribe button, join the Reese's Pieces. We're like around the corner from 1 million, and I haven't said that out loud here on my channel yet because I want to pinch myself. I'm so humbled, and I just love this family so much. So if you've yet to subscribe and you do enjoy my videos, we would love to have you. Please subscribe, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I really appreciate to see that you guys enjoy my content. Yeah, remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you guys.